Joining me now to weigh in is Wade Miller, Executive Director for Citizens for Renewing America. Wade, thanks for being here, sir.
Thanks for having me on. I appreciate it.
What's your take on the rules package? Tell us your involvement a little bit, or the organization's involvement. How successful do you think the anti-McCarthy people were here?
Oh, extraordinarily successful. So, kind of backing up, it's important to remember that no matter what had happened here, conservatives were going to have a lot of leverage because of the slim majority in the House and their ability to effectively block bad bills, et cetera. So they were already going into this with a lot of power. A lot of what they sought to get here, they tried to get from McCarthy before the elections even happened. Some of them were very modest, common sense proposals that was effectively blocked. So after the election, they knew they had a lot more leverage. And their calculus was here, twofold here. One, get a really good deal to kind of transform the way that the House operates on a day-to-day basis and devolve power back into the hands of rank and file members so that they can offer amendments, debate amendments, and just have more say in the trajectory of how the House operates. And barring that, block Kevin McCarthy from becoming Speaker. So I would say probably 13 to 14 of the 20 holdouts, their priority was this concession and these deals. And their viewpoint was, if we can get these concessions in place, this will outlive this Speaker. This will be the de facto way the House should operate for future Congresses. And that was in some respects much more important than just who the Speaker is. It could have been anyone as long as we got these concessions. Others, and I'm not saying that they're necessarily wrong, just thought that Kevin McCarthy had forfeited his, moral standing to be leader, and they were more kind of in focusing on that. But what we got out of this deal is because all 20 stood together, we got a great deal. And the huge leverage points here are the Rules Committee. So having 3 conservatives on the Rules Committee means that they will essentially be quarterbacking what goes forward on the House floor, how amendments can be adopted, being able to block a lot of really bad legislation. And then, of course, the rules package today, the major thing to look for there is, does the vacate motion, the single member vacate motion, stay in? If the single member vacate motion stays in the package and the rules package passes, a lot of the rest of the deal is kind of a conference agreement. And it will be very hard for Republican leadership to go back on that deal because at the end of the day, conservatives control the Rules Committee and they can motion to vacate the Speaker and fire McCarthy anytime that they want to. Now, they'll be judicious with that. They're not just going to willy-nilly exercise that. They're going to use it as leverage to make sure leadership sticks to this deal. But if this all goes through as planned, and this has kind of been from the very beginning, for months now, what they've set out to do very methodically, this will change the way the House operates in a way that we have not seen in 60 plus years. It's a big deal, and a lot of people don't fully understand that yet.
Wade, let me understand what you're saying. On the motion to vacate, help me on how they're going to do this rules package. Don't they vote for the package in its entirety, or are they going to a la carte this thing? Are you saying the motion to vacate would come up separate? No. No. The question will become, does it stay in the package? In other words, are they going to block it? Are moderate Republicans, enough of them, going to block it? If so, then we're back to open warfare. But McCarthy wouldn't let that happen, right? He's agreed to, he signed off on it. Yeah.
I don't trust McCarthy.
Okay.
But every indication I have is that he is willing to stick to this deal because it's in his best interest to do so. But he has a lot to lose at this point.
What happens if for some reason, let's just say it goes sideways and this Rules Committee situation, the motion to vacate, the moderates protest, and what happens at that point? Then everything, we're back to chaos?
You would be in a position where conservatives would have the ability to start blocking things. And again, you still have to get a rules package across, and it's not clear. Right. You might have enough to block the current package, but you don't have a clear pathway forward on any other package. So, yes, there's a scenario here. I don't think it's likely at this point because I do think that there is more incentive for Republican leadership to get this deal done now than to not. And that's because conservatives have a variety of leverage points now, which they will exercise if they deem it in the best interest of the United States of America.
Right. And so to educate our audience a little bit here, and they're very educated, obviously, but just so I understand, if they've got 3 House Freedom Caucus members on Rules Committee, explain that. So what you're saying is because that will be the case, in essence, because so much of the rule committee stuff is what happens on the floor. That's why this is so important. That whatever happens in rules committee is going to transfer over to the floor, and that's going to set the parameters for debate, et cetera.
Correct. 99.999% of bills will go through the Rules Committee first before they get to the floor. And so the Rules Committee can either block the bill's advancement, or they can set up the terms of how the bill will be debated in a way that will be advantageous for conservatives. So they have a lot of ability to basically quarterback the Republican agenda. Now, they will, in good faith, work with Republican leadership where there's a lot of commonality of interest. But when it comes to major things like the spending fights, they're going to be able to hold fast and kind of force the hand of the Republican Party to have to fight on things like spending, to reduce spending at the very least fiscal year 22. Our target would be there's easy ways to go even further down than fiscal year 22 in terms of cutting spending that are easily defensible and very popular.
So, Wade, I've got about 30 seconds, but I want to get to this question. Do you think that McCarthy basically has any power as Speaker anymore? I mean, is he gone from never Kevin to neutered Kevin? What's your sense here?
His process power is diminished. The rhetorical power of the Speaker, the soapbox power, the ability to get on the news and speak to an agenda is still fairly powerful. There's the ability to affect steering decisions, which he's still involved in, which are very powerful. But I think it's clear that this will be the weakest Speaker power in terms of a House floor process that we've seen in decades.
Wade Miller, great to have you on the show. Great information. Love to get you back as we roll through all of this. Thank you so much.
Thanks for having me on.
Yeah.